So here we have 2018. This is question 1B, Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths. So we're asked to solve the inequality. So first thing, when we have an inequality, say when we have an inequality sign here, if we were to multiply both sides of our inequality by a negative number, we would have to change the direction of our inequality. But we actually don't. We need to get rid of our fraction in order to solve this, but we don't know if x is a positive number, if it's a negative number. We just know it's not equal to -2. So if we were multiplying both sides by x plus 2, we couldn't be sure if it was a positive or a negative. So we have to do something to make sure we know it's either positive or negative. And what we do is we actually multiply both sides by x plus 2 squared, because any square number is always going to be positive. So say if I bring down 2x minus 3, x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 3. So what I'm going to do is, it's kind of like an equals, except when I multiply or divide both sides by a minus, the inequality sign direction changes. So I'm going to multiply both sides by x plus 2 squared, and then x plus 2 squared. So I'm multiplying by the fraction, the square of the fraction on the bottom. So now we have x plus 2 squared and x plus 2. So one of the x plus 2's here will cancel with the one on the bottom, and then we'll be left with x plus 2 squared on this side. So now I'm going to have to multiply out. So I have x plus 2 by 2x minus 3, and then x plus 2 squared. So for this, I'm going to multiply x by this, and x by that, and 2 by this, and 2 by that. So x by 2x gives me 2x squared, x by minus 3 gives me minus 3x, 2 by 2x gives me 4x, and 2 by minus 3 gives me minus 6. And then with x plus 2 squared, I'm actually going to have to multiply out x plus 2 by another x plus 2. So that's going to be, so I'll leave my 3 outside for the moment. So x by x gives me x squared, x by 2 gives me 2x, 2 by x gives me 2x, and 2 by 2 gives me 4. So now I'll tidy this up a little bit. So I have 2x squared, and then this will give 1x minus 6. So that's meant to be there on the same line as that. So then if I go on to 2x squared plus x minus 6, and then so if I multiply, so 3x squared plus 4x plus 4. So now I'm just going to tidy up this side. So I'll just write down the first side, plus x minus 6. So 3 by x gives me 3x squared, 3 by 4x gives me 12x, and 3 by 4 gives me 12. So I'm going to get everything to the side where I have a positive x squared. So I'm going to move my 2x squared over to this side. So it'll be 3x squared, take 2x squared. So it'll be x squared. And then I'm going to move this to the other side. So it'll be 12x minus x. So it'll be 11x. And then if I move my 6, it'll be plus 6. So 6 plus 12 will be 18. So now this is, so now I've got a quadratic, and I've got is less than or equal to 0. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to let my inequality equal 0. So I'm going to get x squared plus 11x plus 18 equals to 0. So I'm going to have to factorize this. So the factors of this, I think, are going to be x plus 9 and x plus 2. So I'm going to figure out where my inequality actually equals 0. So x plus 9 equals 0, x is equal to minus 9, x plus 2 equals 0, x is equal to minus 2. So my inequality equals 0 at x is equal to minus 9 and x is equal to minus 2. So say if I was to draw my inequality, so actually I'll draw it on this side here. So say at minus 2, so a quadratic is always going to be, a positive quadratic is going to be U-shaped. So say I'll draw a different color. So at minus 9 and minus 2, we have our roots. But in this question, we have to go back to our inequality sign, and it said when it's less than or equal to 0. So when it's less than or equal to 0, it's going to be all this region here. So it's going to be less than, it's going to be greater than or equal to -9. But it's not going to be less than or equal to 2, because if we remember back to the original question, it said x is not equal to 2 because we can't divide by 0. So it's going to be x is greater than or equal to -9 and x is less than 2. So that is our solution set for that question.